Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave birth to time and space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which set a planet spinning in that space. Once there was an explosion, a bang which gave rise to life as we know it. And then came the next explosion.
And that next explosion, that could be the possible leaks being revealed about certain projects that might show up at E3. Now I have a very comprehensive sheet here and I will be listing everything off in this, but if this is to be true, it would be one of the most amazing E3s in the last decade. Now I do want to say these are just rumors, this screenshot hasn't been confirmed, but it is the Sony PlayStation lineup for project reveals, so let's get into the contents included. Now, as you can see, it is the Sony PlayStation press conference, so this isn't everything at E3, of course, just what Sony's going to reveal at their event. Now, it does seem a little bit strange and authentic from the start, because at each event they usually do start up with what is considered a game's mashup trailer, and this is just a lot of the highlighted titles that are going to be coming to PlayStation exclusively, or maybe not exclusively, but just things that are very hyped for the console. Now we also have Days Gone launch trailer, The Last of Us Part 2 gameplay, Splinter Cell Apocalypse trailer, Devil May Cry 5 gameplay trailer, which has a lot of implications behind it by the way, Yakuza 2 Kiwami trailer, Shenmue 3 gameplay, which I know a lot of people have been looking forward to, the fact that you can play PS2 and PS3 games on the PS4, which will have a trailer about it. Now that's apparently not only going to get a trailer, we're also going to get to see Hideo Kojima playing the game itself, and that would be absolutely fantastic. Resident Evil 2 Remake gameplay, Vanquish 2, even though Vanquish 1 wasn't too popular, it did revolutionize a lot of the video game industry, so it wouldn't surprise me if they're making a number 2. Spyro Reignited, which kind of seems like a pun, but that's funny, and it's going to have a launch trailer and gameplay as well. Kingdom Hearts 3 launch trailer, Beyond Good and Evil 2 gameplay, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake trailer, Final Fantasy 7 remake launch trailer ending. Now, of course, if all of this comes to be true, this is going to be one of the more fantastic E3s, as I said, that's been lined up in the last decades. I'm sure nobody's going to disagree with that, but I do want to speak about the projects I'm most interested in. And this is something that a lot of people haven't really been understanding lately, is that I've never proclaimed to be a video game journalist. I'm not IGN, okay? I'm not some corporation or organization that's objectively trying to make money in a corporate and capitalistic way, and in return providing you guys exactly what is required. My channel has always just been talking about what I'm interested in. So instead of talking about each game specifically, I'm just going to talk about what I think is interesting. So Devil May Cry 5. Now the fact they're not continuing with the reboot makes me think they might be actually taking it chronologically and just continuing and pretending the reboot never existed at all, which would be a very good thing, because while the reboot might have been accepted very well and nobody can really debate that whether you hated it or not, and I remember there was a lot of discussion and hate before the game came out, but then it actually got quite a lot of positive review, but I prefer the old Dante. I'm just going to be personally acknowledging of that, and of course everyone has their own opinion, but the fact that they're going with the title 5 just makes me think it's going to be a continuation of the original franchise rather than a continuation of the reboot. Now going on, we obviously have Death Stranding. Now, if Death Stranding does have a trailer and gameplay, and the trailer is already confirmed by the way, but if it has gameplay by Hideo Kojima, I will be absolutely amazed. A lot of these games get very cinematography style trailers that don't really show you much of how the game's going to turn out, and if we finally get to see the mechanics behind Death Stranding, because of course a lot of people have been wondering how it's actually going to play out. For example, does Sam have special powers, considering he can apparently go in and out of limbo and stuff, or is this going to be more of a stealth horror game, or a stealth action game, or an espionage game? Who the hell knows? Is it going to be outright action, or are we just going to be playing something else entirely? If we get some gameplay, that's something that I'm the most interested in. I want to see Death Stranding gameplay as soon as possible, and I understand Hideo Kojima has reasons as to why gameplay can't be shown until things are finalized, or at least at an acceptable stage, but if we see it at E3, this is going to be one of the things I'm covering the most, because Death Stranding is in my top 3 most anticipated titles right now, along with the Remake 2 and Cyberpunk 2077. Now it says we're going to see some Resident Evil 2 Remake gameplay, and well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it? Not just a trailer, but some gameplay itself. I'm not entirely sure if they'd actually reveal gameplay before a trailer, and this kind of leads towards the credibility of this being a little bit more invalid rather than valid, because in most cases, and I think we can all agree on this, companies reveal trailers that are kind of CG or they're pre-rendered rather than revealing just outright gameplay. So again, I'm just very suspicious about that claim right there. It's up to you and your own opinion on how you analyze that, but I just want you guys to know I don't really feel very accurate about it. And the other thing is, if they were trying to remake Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, I'd actually be very dismayed. Most of the writing team for Konami has left the actual studios for Kojima, and they've decided to go into his path and join his studio instead. So, of course, a lot of the talent, including the director himself, has disappeared. And remaking such a game, which is considered one of the best games ever produced on the planet, could be very, very controversial. Now, I absolutely fell in love with Metal Gear Solid 3, and I really don't think people appreciate the philosophical, moral, political, and geopolitical concepts that are actually indoctrinated into each and every Metal Gear Solid game. They just kind of see it as a fun action stealth game, but there's actually a lot more to it than meets the eye. If they decide to remake that, they could really heavily mess up. It seems like Hideo Kojima had a great understanding of Western and geopolitics, so I'm not sure if I trust somebody else with that level of information and detail. But yeah, these are the things that interest me the most. Now, before the ending of the event, we have the Final Fantasy VII Remake launch trailer, and this would be giving us obviously a lot of extra context, but of course it did say there's not going to be any gameplay because it's a trailer, or maybe there will be gameplay in it, or maybe this whole sheet's fake. I just find this kind of an interesting topic to talk about, but we're not over just yet. There's another sheet I want to reveal to you guys, so I hope you're looking forward to part 2 of the video right now. There was another piece of content apparently leaked. Of course, this is supposed to be for internal workers only, and the possibility is one of them took a screenshot and leaked it. It's not very uncommon these modern days for this kind of actions to be taken, but let's take a look through the contents. We've got a demo for Ghost of Tsushima, we've got a medieval trailer, PlayStation Party in PSVR mode, which realigns back with the other document. We've also got Spyro Reignited Trilogy trailer, which again, it kind of reflects back to the old sheet. A Spider-Man with PSVR mode, Shenmue 3, Resident Evil 2 Remake with PlayStation VR mode, Devil May Cry 5, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3, Bioshock Resurgence with PSR VR mode, Bloodborne 2, which a lot of people should be interested in, Death Stranding, and there is more titles on there, but of course we can't really get them, so it looks like this sheet's a little bit bigger than what was provided, which for me, considering the internal use only, it's making me wonder kind of 50-50 whether this is real or fake. If it is fake, it's very well articulated. Now, of course, the main thing I'm going to talk about here, which I'm most interested in, is again the fact that we have a Resident Evil 2 Remake announcement. Apparently apparently through leaks, but this time it indicates that there's going to be a PSVR capability for it. Now, we all know from 2016, nobody was expecting Resident Evil 7. It was completely and secretly announced at the PlayStation conference, which surprised everybody, and then it was announced that it would have VR capability at a later point, which kind of shows, considering they're using the same engine, that there is a high possibility for that. However, I would still, as I said, take each of these leaks with a grain of salt, because any of this could be true or falsified. Anybody can print out a piece of paper, take a photo of it, and pretend they're working as an employee. So again, just please do take this as a 50-50. It could be right, it could be wrong. But as always, I just hope you've enjoyed the video. I want to thank KMPlaysGames94, and you can follow him on Twitter. I'll leave a link to that in the description, for providing all of this information. I really do appreciate that. I mean, if I didn't have this information, I wouldn't be able to make an independent analysis. So again, thank you very much, and it's a kind and compassionate act to share such information to others. But for now, guys, if you want to, please do subscribe to my channel. Check the description if you want to watch more informative, educational, or theory style videos. And for now, I just hope you're having a beautiful day. As always, take it easy, guys, and peace.